Thinking back to my first journey to India, it seemed like less carefully calculated destination and more of a sort of riding a wave, which in the period of the middle 60s to early 70s was for thousands of young American travelers, all pointed east. Leading the way for this entire counterculture, the Beatles discovered the mystical law of the East in the form of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and their journey, much like my own, revealed wonders we could never have imagined. For children of the 60s, everything we saw and experienced left indelible markers in our beings, markers that would remain for decades to come. It was the beginning of what would later be described as a form of alternative tourism. The idea was to travel as frugally as possible in an effort to extend the length of time one could stay in this land of incredible wonder. Intending to stay for several weeks, my initial introduction to India extended amazingly to 9 months. India had reached out with a magical draw, confirming itself as the undisputed sweet spot to discover the meaning of life. At the very impressionable age of 21, I arrived in India, having traveled overland through Turkey, Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and then via a cargo ship landed in what was then called Bombay. On rail, bus, and foot, we traveled all along the western coast down to Goa, and then continued to the bottom of the Indian map where 3 oceans met, and then back up the east coast, landing ultimately in the gateway city to the Far East, Calcutta. I wouldn't return to India for nearly 4 decades, but India had left some lasting impressions, and when I finally journeyed back, I was not the same. But what I had remembered about the subcontinent had in so many ways gratefully remained the same. Traveling in India required what I can only term as a labor of love, a commitment of the heart and soul in order to make sense of the enigma and contradictions that came at you in extreme close-up. India could be counted on to present you with the unexpected, and one had to remain open to a different truth, or the inner India could pass you by. I had trained in all the years in the USA as a photographer and filmmaker, and with this new set of visual tools and perspective, I came to discover the India I was seeking was found in the side streets, in the temples, at the religious festivals, and in the small villages where Westerners generally tended not to tread. I would enter a new city, village, or back street and just roam for days and weeks, immersed in the hospitality smiles and welcoming gestures offered to this stranger. Off the beaten track was where the India I loved existed, and that's mostly where I focused my camera. Fate, my photography, new friends, my calmer, and a long-seated love for this country would all conspire to draw me back to India again and again. India, I've come to believe, is a place you never really leave. Rather, you carry it with you forever, and it guides you magically to return.